YouTube. Let's get some stream music on here. It's like gold yesterday done that move we were discussing yesterday on stream. It's a daily time frame on gold. Yeah, looks like we're going to continue this move up to 1942. 4 hours. Yeah. I think we'll wait for a few more to join up before we start going through the analysis. But yeah, GJ sells should be good. Did a little pullback in Asian. So yeah, kind of looking for a little bit of continuation to the downside. Hit specific target. Pull back. Although this looks like a fake out of the 4 hour, it's very likely that we're just going to continue pushing down at this point from a lower time frame standpoint. Hour, things like hour starting to reject to the upside, pulling back. Got clear targets to the left. So we'll see what happens. Problem is, at the moment the volume is very low. The candles are very small at this point, which is annoying because it means our trades are going to be a lot smaller in terms of winners. But it is what it is. Already off to a little start this morning. Clearly see coming into the session that downside was quite apparent. But yeah, even if we get this 30-minute closing bearish, I think the next one will just continue the move ultimately, because if we're expecting the daily to do a bit of a madness, then we are expecting price to continue down. From a daily standpoint, we are expecting, now we don't have to we don't know where the top wick is going to stop, but when we look at the lower time frames, and what we can clearly see is that we've pulled back in Asia and now we've started to reject to the upside. And then we had candles closing below the previous, started to break down. So now it's worth a little shot. See if we're gonna get a bit of a continuation. Just tapping into a little minus pot. But this is the thing: when there's lack of volume, just can be a bit slower to see that move. Be a bit slower, but we'll see. Last five might give us a little push. Or give me a little push, should I say, rather. But let's put it this way, it's not giving me, there's no option for buys right now. People might look at the two previous 4 hour candles and say, oh yeah, well, upside makes sense. Well, not really. Look at your dailies, look at your 4 hour structure at this point, clearly not going up. For upside, if we look at where we are in the market, for upside we would need to see start to see things like on 4 hours. We need to see heavy 4 hour candles start to break up at that stage before we can look for pullbacks that create structure on the 4 hour to continue the move, because right now we're in very much a bearish pullback structure on things like your 4 hour. So even these big ass moves here clearly come up to a point of failure and then come back down. We're now just creating this little range, and then once we break through, clear targets down to 182,500 are pretty much bang on. But that's if we're expecting a big ass daily candle, and then we're going to see price flip. Well, we're going to have to start to see lower time frames start giving us some heavy downside first before we can say that that's going to happen. Because at the moment the only targets that we've got are clearly yesterday's lows which kind of come from this area here, which is a good target as a first target. But yeah, you can see, like, look how small the candles are. They've only really moved about four pips. Yeah, we'll see. I think this last 5 minute could give us a little push. We'll see. Yeah, once we get past this little 5 minute level, we've got clean moves coming down. I think it's very likely we'll come into the 800s, 182, 800. That's what I'll be looking at. It'll be a very small play, unfortunately, because of the range that we're in. You know, until I really start to see heavy downside, candles start breaking down, giving me realistic targets, then pullbacks to hit those become a lot easier, because then you can see how big. But at this point you can see the choppiness of the range. So this play, we do have to be careful we don't just start to get big ass candles doing this. This is why we're going to use specific target points that are clearly there to the left. After failing at this stage, you know, it's very likely that we're going to push down to this main low area. But continuation, don't know. We could see a big fat ass rejection, comes back this way from this point, so we don't know, because we failed to break through this all week so far. So in theory, we want to see this broken first, this whole level, and then anything pulling back that respects, creates resistance below there, we can take sells, further sells, to target whatever's been created outside that range. Basically, that will be the play. The longer the better sells. This is just a short term, lower time frame sell option, really, only. Okay, looks like 5 minutes not really going to do the push yet. And now we've got to wait for a new 30 minute potential top wick, all that, so just have to chill. Plus we've not broken through this little 5 minute drop, because this is the thing, when volume is low, now all these little levels on the 5 minute become important because volume's low. So now we need to start to see 5 minutes breaking down below there. See that now it's starting to reject. Not reject, but it's just a lower time frame. It's the movement of price. Not enough volume in there. But 30 minutes still closed bearish at this stage. So we just need a bit of volume. We just need 30 minutes to start breaking below this low and look to continue down and continue this move. But ultimately, if this next 30 minutes starts to push up bullish, starts breaking above 930, then we're going to see this owl flip, and then it's not a good situation for downside. But we could easily come all the way back to here and still end up down here, because we're not doing that in the market right now. This is just a little pullback structure. We're going to start to fail at this stage. We start to break back down. It's just whether we need a deeper top wick on the 4 hour again like yesterday, but we'll see. Still going to anticipate further downside at this point. Because there's nothing to say we're going up yet. Nothing at all to say we're going up. 30 minutes are clearly closing bearish, rejecting the high of the range. We would expect to see continuation, but GJ is not playing nice to start the week anyway, so we'll just have to wait and see. Let's look at gold here quick. Yeah, so gold on the daily is pretty good for upside at this point. I think it all depends fundamentally though, doesn't it? Because right now, pretty much anytime daily candles start to break, you know, range up and above this monthly level, and we start to see dailies closing outside, you clearly start to get a push of volume at this stage. I'm not saying this is what we've done here, but we've clearly broken away from this main area. So what we're saying is basically, as long as this level is respected, we should in theory continue that overall move coming up to the 1944, this level, this area here, this area of daily resistance, support resistance. I think that's going to make a lot of sense longer, you know, sort of over the next couple of days on gold. You may get a bit of a pullback, but it may just be a pullback for continuation, but then fundamentally that all has to make sense. Otherwise, you know, this could just, you could just start to see heavy downside again. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a bit tricky on gold right now. Weeklies, I like weeklies for an upside push based on last week's closure. I already did, based on the fact that we clearly respect in this main area, starting to see wick rejections from these levels again, which is where we're looking on the dailies to understand where the main rejections are coming from, what we sort of need to see from a daily standpoint to make buys viable, basically. And then if you go back to your dailies now, you know, you can clearly see once we started to close up and above this level yesterday, this is where we spoke about buys yesterday. I'm not saying it was the easiest to take buys yesterday, because it wasn't, but there was opportunity to take buys. You know, the best buys yesterday really come in Asian, to be honest. You know, this kind of main break of this area here, breaking above here, gave you that move. That was the play really, based on the dailies, to fill the daily wick. So we know that your daily candle closed up and above that range. That wick on to the daily high is this this pullback is that high. So using that, you know that, okay, pretty much if we then start to break above, hold structural support, then we should ultimately look to just continue and fill that wick the next day. So yeah, I mean, Asian was probably the better move, and then, you know, this is where I said don't get caught out on buys above here, because you get a bit of a hammering, easily pull back all the way to the 1923, still end up bullish for the day. Now that didn't mean literally take buys at the 1923, because it clearly got very heavy, but you know, once you started to see things like this, and then you started to see clear candles closing above, then obviously you can look to target this move again, and then look to continue that overall push from the daily time frame. Okay, that's what made sense yesterday on gold. Because even if you look on 4 hours now, again, this becomes the new 4 hour target in effect. So yeah, upside makes more sense. Let's look at the 1 hour time frame. Okay, if we start to clearly create structure here at this stage, and we start breaking back and above, we've got to pay attention to this zone. This is the structural zone though. Okay, if we stay below there, then you know it's likely we're going to pull back a bit deeper, but in theory, if we start to break back up and above on things like 30 minutes, okay, then clearly we've got an opportunity there to continue the overall move and push back up to that 4 hour level. So that's something that I'll be keeping an eye on gold, see if we can do something like that. But yeah, we probably want to start to see things like hours closing solid. But you know, we're basically using this zone as the target, you know, as your target, pretty much. And we don't know, we could just be creating a top wick to pull back even further. But ultimately, at some point, you know, because of what we're saying, the bias is on the daily, we need to start to see things like hour starting to break back up, change of structure on the lower time frames, 30, 15, and then start to look to break back the other way, back to the upside. Okay, but that's gold for the minute. So YouTube is quiet today. YouTube is very quiet today. I mean, if it was to do with yesterday's loss, I don't know about that, because it was a small 6 pip loss. And then if you follow me on Instagram, you're going to see that I retook the trade yesterday on GJ at open, and we clearly had the opportunity that I pre-planned all throughout the stream. Clearly had that opportunity for downside. 8 o'clock onwards gave you the opportunity to push heavy to the downside, and that was it. You know, I just got in a little bit early before, but we managed risk. You know, we come back and we have a win that was twice as big as the loss, which is always the main thing, right? You know, managed our risk. Let's have a look at GN. GN daily is still coming down at this point, which is pretty cool. Yeah, it looks like we're going to come down to this next level on the dailies. Daily structure position here. Let's go 4 hours. Yeah, I think we're going to see continued downside at this point on GN. It's very similar to GJ, but it's clearly given a bit more opportunity for downside since this main break of the range that we can see from a daily standpoint. So even if we remove analysis on GN, the difference with GN and GJ right now is GN gave good opportunity for downside once you started to see things like this on dailies. Then at that point you're pretty much just looking for the continuation of the move, as opposed to GJ, which is being very, very choppy at this point, and quite dead, to be honest, from a daily and 4 hour, etc. Even now, like this, no, this is just, yeah, the volume is just not there with GJ right now. But obviously we got a lot of news this week, so I'm aware of that. I think that's our main reason for being a little bit dead right now. But I'm going to just need to see how this 1 hour candle closes, because if the 1 hour cannot close bearish, then you know, it's not really an ideal situation to hold that position, because we ideally want to see the 1 hour candle closing bearish. Otherwise 1 hour is going to be respecting this previous range and then potentially could end up all the way over here. But you know, taking buys right now is very choppy. There's not really any opportunity to take buys. It's clearly not going up in the market. And even if you look at the hour time frame, where is the structure? It's clearly not going up, because we're creating these resistances that clearly come in lower than our position, which is why we're looking for this move here back to this main low. That's the idea of the trade. You know, we're not looking for buys. If I was looking for buys, I need to start to see candles clearly just coming away and giving me a proper structural change. You know, you can use things like this that's starting to change structure properly after seeing heavy downside. Yeah, there'll probably be an opportunity to take buys, but we're not in that phase right now. We're clearly in a phase of, since the start of the week. It's the start of the week. Here's your main low to start the week. Pushed up, create resistance, come down, made a, again, this is where it gets very choppy, right? We can see the choppiness of the price. Made a slightly lower low, pulled up again, come back down, and it's just the same process of just pullbacks to create resistance to hit main low target, but failing after that to pull back again, pulling back after doing so. You know, we're not continuing. You know, if we were continuing and we were seeing heavy downside, we wouldn't be coming back after seeing things like, you know, this on the hour. Will clearly start to continue pushing bearish, which makes me obviously think that at the moment the volume right now is pretty dead, which is why we're just seeing pretty much a little bit of range here. Just take a look on like things like the 15. I mean, yeah, it's still, we're not going up. It's not like it's going up. We've still got plenty of time for this hour, but we have to be aware that it's not really a good, it's not really a clean situation where you just expect to see clear bearish candles, you know, coming, creating wicks, and then you know, having volume continuous in this way. We're not seeing that yet. Pretty much what we're seeing is seen a couple candles clearly create rejection to the upside, but like we said, this is our little hour level that we need to start to see broken, and then the downside coming all the way down to these areas is there. It's pretty much on, but right now it's not on. It's just, it's pulling up, it's ranging a little bit, but yeah, I mean, we could see it. I mean, it depends how this 15, if this 15 closes like a weak bullish like this, I would not be surprised if the next 15 gives you a little bit of a push for this overall 30, but it has to close a little bit like this, because then we're not showing signs of upside. But yeah, from an hour standpoint, I think it's very important that we see this hour candle clearly close something like this, and then that will give us the opportunity to see 7 AM onwards should continue this overall move back down to the low. But to be honest, it's a bit of a dead one. Overall, yesterday was pretty dead. It was like a 12 pip target, so we could really target. Today was the same. It's not even that, it's like 10. So overall it's pretty dead, I can't lie. It's not really ideal, not even gonna lie. Because I think, to be honest, it's gonna be like, we're gonna see the better moves later on in the week once we've pretty much seen fundamentally what obviously needs to happen, and then I think we're gonna see the moves that we're gonna see. So if it's the downside coming all the way back down to sort of 181s, if we're going to get that from a monthly, then I think we're going to get that with news this week. Otherwise, to be honest, yeah, this just becomes a bit more tricky. You know, you're going to get this small, tighter ranges, so yeah, just have to wait and see. But yeah, 30 could start to flip up in a sec. Clearly started to make that top wick rejection. Now starting to look a bit more clean. So yeah, this is how we need to see the candle continue at this point. 30 starting to flip, 15 starting to break lows. So we'll see. We'll see. No rush. But yeah, I think fundamentally, like I say, I think once we get rate decisions, because we've got a few rate decisions, we've got pound rate decision, I think we've got CPI as well, So it's pretty heavy week. Just double check. Yeah, because sorry, we've got JPY monetary policy. We've got pound rate decision. Looks like they're going to increase the rate again. We've got FOMC. So it's pretty heavy week for rate decisions. So I feel like that's why we're just especially on pound yen, we're just not seeing the continuation of moves in the way that we would expect to see in a normal week. Sometimes we see a lot of moves prior to the news, right? Before the news, sorry. But now we're just seeing range before the news, pretty much. That's what we're currently seeing. Not seeing those continuations, like we say. Yeah, we've not really broken the lows yet properly on the 30s, so it's not really doing much yet. Can't lie, this is pretty dead. How are you guys doing on YouTube anyway? Anyone in any trades, anything? Doing anything? Any questions? Can't lie, I mean the most it's moved is 4 pips. I mean that is so dead. That is very dead. Thing is, yeah, it's just like it's definitely yesterday and today has been really poor volume. Like really poor volume. Right, this is where I'm paying attention, because this is where we're coming up for the hour closure, the 30-minute, 10 minutes. This 15 is you know, all these 5-minute candles closing now are going to be massive. So we need to see 5 minutes breaking down heavy. Once we get a 5-minute closing below this 845, we'll get that continuation. We need to see that first, because we ain't seen that. We have not seen that yet. Can't even lie, all this for 10 pips ain't really ain't even really all that worth it. It's this where we gotta be careful. Well, I've got to be careful, because it's my analysis. Doesn't mean necessarily need to close out the trade, but we want to see at least the hour closing below the previous. So you'd want to at least see the hour close below the previous hour candle, and then you know that you're starting to create an actual solid level of resistance. Then, you know, we could just come up for 7 AM, tap this level, and then continue down, you know. But we want to see the hour close below the previous in order for sells to continue to make sense. Otherwise, look what we're going to do on the 30s. It would clearly then still in a bit of a bullish structure at this point. But you know, once we start to break down here, this position here, you know, in theory we should respect this and continue to what's left. But if we're not going to do that, then sells become very hard. But I mean, we could just be clearly making a steeper wick on the 15 and still end up smashing down. Who knows? We just have to keep an eye on the situation. Keep an eye on the 5 for a minute. Because what we realistically don't want to see is breaks of sort of 900s, because then it's very likely we're just going to make our way pretty heavy back up to the upside. Once we start breaking above 900s, now you're talking about 30 minutes and 1 hour's closing bullish, which isn't ideal to see downside. I don't think we got any news at 7 now, do we? Let's have a look. No. No. So today we were clear, but yeah, see, this is not ideal. What's happening right now? Unless it's creating a seriously steep wick on the 5, which it can do, because we're not going down. We're not going up yet. 1 5-minute candle does not mean we're going up. So we'll leave on the 5 for a sec. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how the last 5-minute closes, I suppose. That'll be the real test, whether there's just a heavy pullback for that last 5 to just push down heavy, or is this going to be the push up now? Yeah, see, 30 minutes closing like that, not ideal. Not what we want to see at all. 1 hour's clearly not a good option for sales. So last 5 better do something. Ooh, mad. Yeah, that's that trade done. Yeah, so we had like a, what's that? 8 pip loss, unfortunately. So yeah, that's that trade done and dusted. Yeah, no options for sales right now. Pretty dead, to be honest. Yeah, you could see a little push to the upside here, to be fair. Coming up to the 183s again, more than likely. Yeah, bit of a dead one. Bit of a dead one. I think the hour time frame was the one that was a bit more saying it's not quite ready to head downwards. 30 minutes started to show signs that we were going to continue. But this is what I was saying. Gets very choppy. It's been pretty dead at the start of the week, to be fair. Can't even lie. Yeah, if it does all that and then still starts breaking down, that'd be pre-peak. Yeah, because I think now we tapped up on that 4 hourly level, because we got this level here. This is what I was paying attention to, because this resistance is what broke us down. We now pulled back to that, and we didn't really tap it during Asian, but we started to reside just below it, creating resistance. So that's where I got the idea. Okay, we were respecting the higher time frame level. 30 minutes starting to break down. Can use the lows here as a target, but do you know what? I think this is a pretty dead area, to be honest. Now we're seeing it do what it's doing. It's a pretty dead area. So I think it was unlucky. Now price is making its way back down again. Yeah, it's just a really shitty area, to be honest. Really crappy area to be trying to take trades. But yeah, there is a little opportunity to take potential opportunity for buyers. Our time frame is giving you a little bit of a potential. The thing is, when we're in these areas where we're clearly rejecting the lows, this is the thing. When we're rejecting the lows in this manner, and then we start to create structural change on things like the hour, you can use what's to the left, but it's only a max, because more than likely it will be a pullback to then fail at a certain level. So I think what it is now is we just need a deeper pullback to an area of more liquidity or rejection for downside. That's what I'm looking at this, because in theory we can come all the way back. We can in theory come all the way back to where we rejected yesterday, which is anywhere but pretty much below the 183 300. So in that case, it's quite likely that we're going to come back up into that zone of the 4 hours. It just for the session, it made sense once we were rejecting the high of the range to target the low of the range, but we clearly didn't want to go down yet. Whereas at this stage, once we get past this little position here, lower time frame, it's pretty much good to get to the 183.161 and be done pretty much. That would be the trade. But you know, this is all my analysis. Yeah, to be fair, 1 hour time frame makes a lot of sense to push up to the 183.70. I think 183.70 is going to be. I think 183.70 is going to be the push here for the session. Once we just get past this little position here, then we're good to the 183.70. The thing about taking buys is all just based on the idea that, okay, we're rejecting this main area from the lows. Sells are clearly not on the cards. Now we're clearly starting to break up and above our main range, and like I say, once we just get past this little position here, you're good in theory up to this level. Yeah, this should continue up to 183.60. The 183.60 should be good. I think at this point here we're going to get that continuation. What is it? First 5-minute candle as well. Yeah, next one should continue the move. Hour time frame, yeah. I think it's pretty clear at this point that we want to continue this little push within the range. Yeah, I think, to be honest, I think the better option is the buys at this stage. But they're going to be very short-lived. You're not going to be able to hold them. You know, your max targets are going to be 183.60. Just be careful at the 183. That's where you could see some rejection. I think around 6 YouTube's quite quiet, isn't it? And then it starts to pick up around now. But yeah, anyone in any trades or anything? Yeah, I think we should continue this move. Like I say, up to 183.70, 183.65-ish. Very small play. Five minutes made a wick at this point, so yeah, I think it will. I think it should continue now. I just can't believe how small the volume is at the moment. The candle sizes. You know, you look at that candle, you think that's a good 10-pip candle. It's not. It's moved about 6 max. You know, it's really not the best. we're getting quite jumpy now as well, so we're gonna have to be a little bit cautious here. I'm going to see a nice push to the upside. Yeah, anyone can recommend free music for YouTube, because I just forgot what website I used to use, to be honest, and it always used to get me what's the word, always used to get me copyrighted, which is a bit annoying. Can't even lie. So if anyone's got any recommended sites that they know they've used, or anyone else has used, sort of anything like that, the copyright stuff, then yeah, drop it in the chat, let me know. This 5-minute candle is struggling big time at this point. Just seeing how this 5-minute candle, 1-minute candle closes up. This is the last 5 of the 15, right? So in theory should see a nice continuation at this stage. So like I say, GJ should continue to around 183.60, 183.70ish. Gold is still pulling back. But yeah, don't worry guys, we'll have some better days on stream. I think at the minute price is a bit dead. Price is dead. Pretty much once it's the 1 hour candle doing what it did, it was a clear change of structure at that point on the hour, which means you have the opportunity to target what is left and take buys. You can do that based on the idea that if we're not going down, all of this becomes a rejection from the lows, respecting of your 4 hour support, and therefore you have an opportunity to see the next candle push up and target what's left. Okay. So pretty much the idea for the whole session was this. What we were looking at, what we were saying was this. 4 hour candles, yeah, we knew closed back inside that range. Cool. We were looking at lower time frame, and we were saying, okay, 30 minutes starting to reject below this level. If we stayed below our main Asian range, then there was a higher probability we would come down to retest this main 4 hour low and the lower time frame low. Okay, we said that. Now, once we started to see candles breaking back up like this would have been, let's say this didn't wick out and you saw that, that's clearly you need to get out of that sell, because there is no opportunity for sells now at that stage. At that point there, that's a clear change of structure on something like the 30 minute. This is your low, it's a clear change of structure, now starting to break back above. You know, then the next 30 minute you expect it to do something like this, which is kind of what it's done. But we would be looking for it to continue to what's left. You get that confirmed with the hour. 4 hours now bullish. It makes sense. Okay, you could even probably see the push all the way up to the 183, 160 that we spoke about. Could do. But again, this is where it is just very tough at this point overall, because overall we are doing this now on things like dailies, but it's just a pullback phase on the daily. But ultimately, what it is doing, it is creating a range pretty much. You know, on the 4 hour, pretty much, I think where I've underestimated is that this area here really comes from this. So this area here is really just a bit of a bullshit level, because this candle broke down below, could not continue, so the candle started to close back and up and above that range. You know, so we're clearly not going down yet, basically. But I think overall it is pretty dead, because from your daily, this is where you have to be a bit careful, and maybe I didn't take this into account, right? But your daily is clearly downside, yeah, which is why when we see a little 30 minute do something like this, we think, yeah, downside makes sense. Yeah, it does from a daily, but like we have to say and we have to expect is, if the previous daily is bearish and your bias is bearish, we don't know where the new daily candle is going to stop. We don't. But what we do know is that we're clearly going to create within that new candle pullback structure, which means so there's pretty much two options for a trade. Yeah, the first option is you take buys and to hit specific target points with your change of structure. Yeah, the other option is to look for this structure and then a breakdown of this structure to attempt to hit the lows, which it comes from here. Yeah, so for sells, what we'd probably need to see now is, like we said, we're starting to create structural upside a little bit, just a little bit within this range. I would probably need to see something like this that sort of happened yesterday, where we clearly start to break down of that structure. Okay, this is what the trade we were talking about yesterday. So obviously got in sells at this position here. Okay, we said pretty much as long as this support doesn't get respected, because then you would expect to see structure this way and then to target what's left, you would expect to see, once we start to break down below this, there's a break of that pullback structure that is trying to do. Now you can look to target what's left, and that is pretty much what we did. pretty much what we did. But to be fair, I think until we get all this fundamental stuff well and truly out the way and we got a bit more of a clear direction, I just think we're fighting for scraps in the market right now. Because, you know, over the last few weeks we've had a lot of good clean volume which we've very much been able to take advantage of. Very much been able to take advantage of. But let's just say, once we see 4 hours, and understand this, once we see 4 hour candles breaking below this level and outside of this zone, we're coming down to 181, no question at that point, or 181.5 at least. But yeah, you can just see, look at this is the biggest problem we've got, is the choppiness of the sales right now. This is what you're seeing, it's choppy. You know, what you want to see for sales is clear daily candles printing bullish, pullbacks to fail, to continue, pullbacks to fail, to pull back. So we're not seeing that yet. So in theory, yeah, this is a dead one. In theory, this is a dead one. But yeah, make sure you like the stream anyway, because we want to try and get as many people to see. It's only our second day back on stream. But you know, if you watched yesterday, yeah, okay, first position that I had closed out managed risk, because we said 7 AM could do a pretty heavy pullback, similar to what it did today, where you know, potentially taps you out and then continues. If you paid attention yesterday and you waited till the 8 o'clock, like I said afterwards, that clearly gave a good opportunity to take sales coming down, which is what we took advantage of after the stream. Okay, so the opportunities are there, but it's definitely just been a lot choppier this week and a bit more dead, that's for sure. But yeah, this is a different type of stream. Need to get the music, man. Need to find that music. Oh, what am I doing? Of course. I've just remembered the website. Ignore me.
Hello, brother.
Good morning, good morning. How are you?
Oh, yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Yeah, mate. It's pretty fucking dead at the moment.
Yeah, she didn't move it. Gold were crazy yesterday. Yesterday it was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And how do I change? Fucking.
Got the music.
Okay.
Got the music.
Oh.
Yeah, gold yesterday was a bit of a mad one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really crazy. It was up and down, up and down, up and down, like shit.
Pretty much. Continuation was there. NYC went it onwards. Yeah, so NYC did so basically NYC opened here, yeah. Did a mad pullback, came back to respect this main level, and then once you started to see candles closing up and above there, continuation was pretty on point. Yeah, to be honest, bro, I'm just waiting for its fundamentals so we can get some proper trades. Like, I'm not really trying to hit a fight for like 10 pips, you know what I mean? Like, yesterday's target was like, yeah, maybe got like 13 yesterday, but still, it's quite dead. I don't even think I want to touch it now today. I think I want to leave it alone. You know what? I honestly think the better sells really now are gonna come below this level. I think once we start breaking below there, you're gonna get a bit more continuation, and we'll fill Thursday's low. Thursday, yes. Yeah, I think wait till daily candle's bearish at this point, and then you can look to fill Thursday's low and continue down. Because right now it is just so dead. You know, in theory, you should have seen a bit of a push to the upside on the hour. Now we're coming back. So then, what I did it, you know, it's just in a shocking area, to be honest. You know, you'd expect to see, once you start to see candles like that, you'd expect to see price coming down and at least retesting this main low. This is what we've been doing every time with pullbacks. This is a pullback, but like, you wouldn't take sales now, because if we end up like this, what's your range? Your range is to there, then there. I mean, it's pretty dead, to be honest. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave this thing alone for a bit. Yeah, I mean, it's days like today where a second pair comes in handy, because you don't even really want to take trades right now. Oh yeah, I've got to apologise, YouTube. It has been a dead one today.
Do we have any news today?
Not today, but we got some heavy
Tomorrow?
news. Yeah, we got some heavy news tomorrow.
I remember
CPI.
that was... No, we have some building permits today on USD.
Oh right, okay. I'm not sure if that'll be massively impactful, but
Who knows? 230. Tomorrow we have CPI on DJ.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that's
We have
where we're
FOMC.
gonna see.
We have FOMC tomorrow too.
Yeah, I think that's where we're gonna start to see a bit of the volume kick back in, because right now it's just like I was saying, it's just been pretty dead. Straight up, it's been dead.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I hate to say it, but I think from our point of view, the hour's given similar.
GG. Yeah, GG seems like...
It's like a 10 pip, 18 pip. I mean, the only way this is the best trade you can have is, let's say this is the entry based on the hour time frame. You'd have to look to push through this zone and target Thursday's low in order for this to really make sense as a good trade, because again, now you're limited to just a 10 pip trade at this current low. So I would even be inclined to just wait and see how this hour closes. In fairness, if the hour closes like this, you know, it does look pretty good to say that open could do a bit of a madness, but pre-session been dead, been extremely dead, no doubt. Right, bro, I'm gonna go make a drink. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Yeah,
No worries, bro.
cool. See you in a sec.
Okay.
let's take a look at gold here. Now, obviously, gold is in around 1932, but the most important thing is there's a support form around 1931 on gold, and I would say if we can break below the support, because yesterday we had a clean move up, clean move up, clean move up, we created support and we rejected it to continue to move up, right? So if we can break below the support, I think this is going to be a very good probability for then price to possibly continue to push down, as we got clean range till almost 1928, which is like 28 to 930, like around like 35 to 40 pip range for price to continue to push down. When we take a look at it from a buying perspective, now there are other
So I often struggled at school. Once, when we had a maths test, I looked around the room and everyone was just doing it, and I couldn't, and I began to cry. But my teacher came over and said, it might look like one big problem, but it's just a handful of small ones, and you can deal with that. I hear her voice in my head for every problem I face to this day.
You could get a tax-free bursary to train as a teacher. Search Get Into Teaching. Subject to eligibility, selected subjects only.
The future is unpredictable at times, but the Open University are the experts in distance learning, allowing you to fit study around your life. What's more, you'll have support from dedicated tutors every step of the way. Now, suddenly your possibilities are open.
Register by the 7th of September to get started.
The Open University, the future is open.
Yo. Hello. So yeah, like we said, GJ pushing up to 183.70-ish. Again, very, very small move. Between there and there, you do not want to be trading. To be honest, this is where, this area here is where you're going to see potential downside, because this is what created this whole push through the zone. This is the recent resistance. But at the same time, if we start to get things like this on 4 hour, closing up and above this level, and we create structure above there, okay, so even if you get something like this from a 4 hour point of view, right, say get a 4 hour candle closing above, next 4 hour candle to something like this. Morning Simon, how's it going? The next 4 hour candle to something like this. This will be where you're going to get the best opportunity to push up to that level. Above this area basically is where you're going to see the best buys, and then obviously anything doing something like this from a 4 hourly, you know, but we clearly see rejection. It's clearly going to give the opportunity to push back down and probably push past this area, because I think where we've got caught short today is the pullback. Yeah, we've clearly created pullback. The pullback phase isn't done yet. That's why the sales weren't on yet, because you know, you get too caught up in the daily time frame bias sometimes, where you look at the daily and you think, okay, so previous daily is gap down, it's closed bearish. Okay, we're clearly respecting this breakout. So you got this candle here is closed below this zone. Okay, we know why that's important. And then Friday's candles respected it, Monday's candles come up, rejected. So you're expecting Tuesday's candle to eventually flip and continue down, and that makes sense. Yeah, it does make sense. However, lower time frame, this is where session trading becomes a bit more apparent, is you can be early based on certain things. So our current 4 hour range is clearly, I'll mark it up in yellow. Current 4 hour range is pretty much this zonal area here, and your low of the range, your 4 hour support is here. So this is your current 4 hour range. So yes, it does make more sense to see rejections coming from anyway. Pretty much what I think I'll be looking for now for the rest of the day, right? Oh, let's go back there. Right, pretty much what I'll be looking for the rest of the day now is this. If we start to see price pushing up and breaking above things like this on the 30 in the hour, so you get candles closing up and above here, okay, and then we start to see heavy downside candles, okay, like things like this, like our candles like this, you know, or something like that, and then look at lower time frame on the next candle. If we start to see things like this on the hour, it's very apparent that we will probably make our way all the way back down to the lows. So I think where we just got caught short a little bit is the area that I sold in was not, the pullback phase had not finished yet. So we need to see things like that on the hour. But it's cool. It's only very, very small. Very small
brother.
Yo.
I'm gonna get ready now. I don't know if you will be here when I come back, but
Probably
salute.
not, bro. No, probably not, bro.
Please give me a call when you start, bro. You know I'm a heavy sleeper. Give me a call when you start.
Alright, well, yeah, I mean, either that or I'm starting at 6 now, innit? So what, 2 hours ago, your time, if you wanna...
No, it's just 1 hour before. You are just 1 hour in front of me. So for you it's 7. For you it's 6. For me it's 7.
Okay, yeah. So if I'm getting up at 6, then you're 7 o'clock. Get up, yeah.
Yeah, I'm at 7 o'clock. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I mean, look, if I don't hear from you by like 6:30, which is your time, 7:30, I'll just give you a buzz.
Okay, that's great. That's great.
But yeah, just set your alarm for 7, innit? That's what
I have my alarm for 6:30, and I guess I wake up 2 hours after, because today I had my alarm since 6:30, 7:30, 8 before 15, 8:15, and I woke up on 8:15 on the last one. It's really shitty one.
Yeah, that is not good, is it?
Anyway, see you tomorrow, brother. I'm off now.
Okay, bro. Have a good day, yeah?
Bye bye, you too.
Yeah,
Talk to you in Slack then.
Yeah. Take care, mate. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye. But yeah, Simon, how you doing? Nice clean levels, bro. Well, we're not in a clean area, bro. Trust me on that one. How has your trading evolved in recent times, Paul Bud? It's evolved quite a bit. Now very much more focused on following daily and 4 hour, and just identifying where I am on the higher time frame, I suppose, is the mistakes that I've made in the past. Just like, for example, let's just say you see this candle on a daily, and then the next day you presume sells, but you forget where you are, and that you shouldn't be selling into this level on the daily. So little adjustments like that have helped massive. Today's like today, a bit more tricky, because in theory anything below here technically is still downside bias, because of pretty much what we did on Thursday. We clearly started to break down heavy, see an upside projection wicks every time, so it's very hard to say it's buys right now, because it's not, is it? Overall it's not buys. But obviously, yeah, we know that there is opportunity to look for sales, but then you get little things like today where there's a little opportunity on the hour to have a session trade. So you have to identify, is it a session trade, or is it based on the higher time frame? That's what you have to ask yourself. And I think that's where I've changed, because it would more be like, for example, those buys there, that's a pure session trade to hit a specific target and be done, lower time frame. But this is lower time frame only. There's no higher time frame. You've not got any dailies giving you that indication. I mean, you got 2 4-hour candles. Yeah, that's closed bullish, cool, but we're not doing that in the market. We're doing that right now, currently. Obviously, in the bigger picture, we're still very bullish. Not silly. Things like monthlies, we're clearly very bullish at this point. We're not going down as such. But what I mean by that is your dailies are not continuing up at this stage. We're clearly in a, well, I suppose what the daily's doing now is in this heavy pullback phase, which is pretty much what we're getting in here on the lower time frames, which is just a load of bullshit basically, which is making life very hard. you know, the better opportunities pretty much for the whole month and last month have always come back to the upside. You know, sales have always been pretty dead because there isn't really sales, you know. But you know, days like today, yeah, in theory we should only be looking for sales in theory, but then this is where you will get a session trade that will give you, see, this is the funny thing, you look at your higher time frame, your daily, and you think, okay, so my bias is sells, where's the opportunity to take sells? You see an opportunity to potentially play the range from this area, and you think, okay, sales make sense, but then, you know, look at the situation we're in now, clearly going up, but you're like, oh, but daily this, daily that. To be honest, it doesn't really matter. Do you know what I mean? Because there, you know, session is session. You know, we've seen plenty of times where we're looking for buys on the daily, and London will just do a heavy downside push. You know, we've seen that plenty of times. So you have to differentiate, I suppose, as well from session and higher time frame trades, and that's something I've been able to do that's helped me massive. So yeah, from a higher time frame trade, what would I be planning? From a higher time frame trade, like I say, anything rejecting this way, things such as the hour, engulfing or breaking of structure, should give you good downside target based on what we've seen. If we can't do that, then it's very likely dailies, etc., are going to probably more than likely start to make their way back inside the range. But then again, that doesn't always mean buys, and this way you've got to be careful with that as well. Trust me, because you've got plenty of time to get buys. You know, once you start to see big ass daily candles closing pretty much back above this range, you know, and then change in structure on things like 4 hour, you're gonna have good opportunity to take buys, but you can hold with things like situations like even this situation here, where we create a range. Okay, we clearly start to break back above. Okay, we pull back, slight change in structure on the 4 hours, and then you have a little, probably have an opportunity there on like 1 hours, etc., to take trades. Maybe not the best example, but a better example would be, okay, this would be a good example. Situation like this. So where we are right now is kind of like we're in this phase here, yeah, because this is your range. Okay, this is your range, right? You know that to take buys, you need to start to see things change structure, etc. Once we started to see things like this on 4 hour, and then we started to break back this way, it was pretty much on that was going to be target, and then the continuation was there because of the structural change in 4 hour. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, it's key. I've noticed trades taken off 4 hourly base structure are where good traders often wait for. Yes, because right now we've basically done what we've done now from a 4 hour is pretty much what we've done, sort of similar to here, but different, because here we're still very much bullish in nature. Dailies are not breaking down below daily supports, etc. This is different. This, we had an opportunity to hit the top of that range. This, however, is, yeah, we're starting to come back in the range, lower time for a support. Yeah, like we said, little opportunity, but not the same. You're not going to continue in the same way. It's very, very different. The dailies are closing heavy to the downside. But yeah. But anyway, YouTube, gonna call it a day here. Yeah, nothing really going on as such. But yeah, like I say, from a higher time frame, where it makes sense to see sells,
once when we had a
is
maths
pretty
test, I
much,
looked around the room
like I
and
said,
everyone was just doing
if we
it.
start to come
I
back
couldn't,
into this
and I
zone,
began to cry.
and then we start to
But
see
my teacher
candles
came over
leaving this
and said,
zone,
"It might look
closing
like
back
one week
outside,
problem. It's just
rejecting
a
and things
handful
like
of
the hour,
small ones,
etc.,
and you can deal with that."
we can
I
look
hear her
for
voice in my head
continued
every problem I
downside,
face to this day.
You could
and
get
that
a
is pretty
tax-free-
much what we would be looking for. Okay, so yeah, I think that's where we're going to get our better opportunities, situations like this. Okay, this is where, yeah, this situation was alright, but then once you start to see candles closing down here, targets were pretty apparent, so something similar to that would make a lot of sense. Alright guys, but anyway, take care, have a good rest of your day.